What if the person God chose to rebuild an entire nation was a butler, not a general, not a prophet, not a king, a butler, a wine taster for the king, a man whose entire job description was, "Don't die from poison today." That's Nehemiah. Every time he brought the wine, he had one job: make sure the king didn't get taken out by a tiny sip of betrayal. And if the king didn't like the vibe, Nehemiah could lose the job on the spot, or even his head. This wasn't a casual side hustle. This was smile while you work, high stakes, life or death pressure every single day. You'll definitely learn something here. These are the types of content I create. If you're interested, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. This man is comfortable and safe in the most powerful palace on earth, and is about to throw it all away for a city he could easily ignore forever. So why on earth is he falling apart over a dusty, ruined city thousands of miles away that hasn't even sent him a postcard? And besides, he is basically living the dream. Palace views, king next door, no rent, no traffic, no drama, just chilling, good status, and a killer job title. You'd expect the answer to be a vision, an angel, a burning bush, some dramatic, undeniable sign from God that it was time to move, but that's not what happened. Not even close. For sure, your whole body will tremble, your brain will explode, and you will definitely be blown away if you learn that it was his brother showing up with bad news. That's it. Just Hanani walking through the door looking like he hadn't slept in weeks, and everything changed. Because what Hanani said next didn't just break Nehemiah's heart. It launched one of the most insane leadership stories in human history, with a ticking clock, a hostile king, and enemies who would do anything to stop him. And Nehemiah had none of the qualifications to pull it off. It's 445 BC, the Persian Empire is the most powerful force on earth, and Nehemiah has made it. Top floor access, royal salary, personal relationship with the most dangerous man alive. Every morning, he drank the king's wine first. He had survived this job for years. He was secure. He was untouchable. Then Hanani walked in. Yo, the Jews who survived Babylon and made it back home, they're getting crushed. The city's walls, still rubble, gates, burned to ashes, never fixed. Nehemiah lived and served in the Persian Empire. But when he heard this, what do you think he did? A man with everything to lose, no connection to this city, and zero power to fix it? You'd expect him to feel bad for a day? Maybe donate something, send some prayers, and move on. Instead, he sat on the floor and wept. For days, he stopped eating. He could barely function. He's devastated. But here's what makes it extraordinary. His grief was so violent, so physical, so total, that it stopped him in his tracks for months. Because that grief wasn't just emotion, that grief was a calling being born. And what Nehemiah did with it next, for 4 months, is something almost nobody talks about. 4 months. That's how long Nehemiah sat on his grief before he moved an inch. He's still showing up every morning, still tasting the wine, still smiling in the king's court like everything is fine, while carrying a plan so dangerous that if the king found out too early, it could cost him his life. Because in the Persian court, having a secret agenda around the king wasn't just awkward. People had died for less. There are those who believe in every whisper, and there are those who don't seem to bother much. The question is, what can we gain from this? Then came the moment. The king looks at Nehemiah and says, "Why does your face look so sad?" Nehemiah was very afraid, because this question wasn't small talk. This was the king noticing something was wrong with the man who handled his wine. That could mean disloyalty. That could mean, did he just poison me? So what does Nehemiah do? He's got one shot. The most powerful man on earth is staring at him, waiting for an answer. How does a cupbearer ask a king to hand him an entire nation? You'd expect him to stumble, to deflect, to give a safe, vague, politically clean answer and live to fight another day. Instead, he tells the king everything: the ruined city, the burned gates, the broken people, and then he makes his request: return to Judah, letters of safe passage, and a letter to obtain timber for the construction of the gates and walls. All of it in one conversation, do or die. But here's the clue you almost missed. Before he answered, Nehemiah fired off the shortest prayer in the entire Bible: a silent, one-breath prayer. Right there in front of the king, 4 months of preparation condensed into a single second. And the king said yes. And as an extra provision, the king also sent him a military escort of army officers and horsemen. One conversation, 4 months of secret prayer. And the most powerful man on earth handed a grieving butler the keys to rebuild a nation. If you want to expand your thinking and deepen your understanding, come and let's delve together into meaningful studies and find the answer to the question: is it true? But when Nehemiah finally arrived in Jerusalem, he didn't say a single word for 3 days. The people are watching. They know someone important has shown up with royal letters and a military escort. Expectations are high. And Nehemiah goes completely silent. 3 days. No announcements, no rallies, no grand speeches, just silence. For a man on a mission with a ticking clock, that silence is dangerous. You'd think a leader with royal backing and a clear mission would come in hot, rally the troops, give the speech, break ground immediately. And what he did next, in the dead of night, completely alone, changed everything. He slips out alone with a donkey and rides all the way around the perimeter of the destroyed city, inspecting the ruins and assessing the work that needs to be done. He needed to see it for himself, to feel the weight of every stone, to know exactly what they were up against. In some places, the rubble is so thick his donkey literally can't get through. He has to climb over stones on foot. The next morning, he gathered the people, pointed to Jerusalem's ruined walls, burned gates, and the disgrace for themselves. Let's rebuild the city walls and put an end to our disgrace. And I told them how God had been with me and helped me, and what the emperor had said to me. They responded, "Let's start rebuilding," and they got ready to start the work. No hesitation, no debate, because they found a simple man who had traveled from afar to lead them, won the king's favor, walked in God's blessing, and stood before them with unwavering courage and resolve. What happened next was one of the most insane organizational feats in human history. This next part changed everything for me. The moment the wall started rising, the opposition arrived. Sanballat, the governor of Samaria, showed up with mockery first. If a fox climbs what they're building, it'll collapse. When mockery didn't work, they threatened military attack. So Nehemiah armed the builders, half-held spears, half-held trowels. They worked from sunrise to sunset, slept in their clothes, and never once took off their weapons. Their lives were literally on the line every time they picked up a brick. Then came 4 separate attempts, messages, maybe assassination plots, to get Nehemiah to come down from the wall and meet with his enemies. Each time the pressure got heavier. Then came the final threat. Word on the street, you're plotting a Jewish revolution to crown yourself king. The king will hear about this. Meet now or else. Nehemiah is building a wall with armed workers, surrounded by enemies, under threat of death, with a false rumor now spreading to the most powerful empire on earth. What does a man do when everything is closing in at once? Just go ahead and check it out. What's the worst that could happen, right? Don't be a chicken. You'd expect a crisis meeting, a strategic retreat, at minimum, some visible fear. Instead, Nehemiah sent back the same words: "I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down." That's it, same words, every single time. Then someone he trusted, a man named Shemaiah, warned him, Hide in the temple with me tonight, bestie. They're coming to kill you any night now." And Nehemiah looked at him and said, "Nah, not me." He realized immediately that God never sent Shemaiah. Tobiah and Sanballat had bribed him to make Nehemiah run, hide, and sin. Their plan? Destroy his name, end the project. 52 days after they started, the wall was done. No army, no miracles, and enemies ready to kill them. Even the enemies realized that this work had been done with the help of our God. He stayed in Jerusalem for about 12 years. He did make the people worship the true God in an organized public way while he was there, but the pattern was not yet fully internalized in their hearts. Then he returned to Persia. After likely staying in Persia for a few years, he returned to Jerusalem the second time and found everything had completely fallen apart. And what he saw crushed him completely. Jerusalem is his life's work, the wall he built brick by brick, the city he wept for before he rebuilt it. And it's a disaster. His chief enemy Tobiah is literally living inside the temple. The priests haven't been paid. The Sabbath has become a marketplace. Everything he built, not the wall, but the culture, the covenant, the people, is crumbling. What does a great leader do when the people he sacrificed everything for throw it all away the moment he turns his back? You'd expect a measured response, a wise elder statesman delivering a firm but gracious correction. Instead, Nehemiah threw all of Tobiah's belongings out of the temple with his own hands. He confronted the men who had broken the covenant, and the Bible doesn't soften this. He beat them and pulled out their hair. In the ancient Near East, hair pulling meant ultimate public humiliation. Defeat, disgrace. Was that uncontrolled rage? Honestly, Nehemiah was the man who built the wall. Can't he be angry? He ends his book not with a victory parade, not with a legacy speech, not with a monument to himself. Just a desperate, almost anxious prayer. Remember me, my God. 4 times in one chapter, he asks God to remember him. 4 times. He rebuilt the wall, but he could not rebuild the heart. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. Nehemiah never heard an audible voice from God. No angel, no burning bush, no vision, just a broken heart and a decision to do something about it. His calling arrived as grief, and maybe yours will too. Before you ask, "What is my purpose?" ask, "What breaks me so deeply I can't stop thinking about it?" He had no wife, no kids, and no legacy, but he did have a top-tier seat in the king's court as a cupbearer. People love to whisper, "No family, must be gay or a eunuch." No, that doesn't automatically make him a eunuch or gay. He is a cupbearer, right? Yep. But that job was about trust, skill, and access, not sexuality or missing body parts. The Bible gives 0 evidence for that. And his hair-pulling rage instead of boxing them, that was holy zeal, not a sexuality clue. Nehemiah's power came from trust, courage, and God's favor, not stereotypes. He poured his entire life into a future he would never personally inherit. He's not an engineer, not a general, not a government official, and he rebuilt the wall anyway. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might, for in the realm of the dead, where you are going, there is neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom. Do what nature requires. Set out immediately if possible. Don't look around to see if people will know about it. Nehemiah didn't build for applause. He built because it needed to be done. He prayed in secret, planned in silence, and acted at exactly the right moment. And when it was over, all he asked was that God remember him. That's the kind of life worth building. Come, let us rebuild the wall so we no longer suffer disgrace. Open your mind and further enrich your understanding of well-researched knowledge, the foundation of true wisdom. Remember, it's essential to select content that offers something of value.